In this package, Governor Godswill Akpabio refutes media report of stampede at inauguration of Akwa Ibom International Stadium. Contributions of school principals to success of government education programs acknowledged. Christ the King Cathedral, Uyo honors Prince Godwin Togode with award. Details shortly. A very good morning to you and welcome to AKBC for 5 minutes at dawn. I am Blessing Isonwu. Governor Godswill Akpabio has debunked claims by some section of the media that there was a stampede leading to the death of 2 persons during the inauguration of the Akwa Ibom Stadium complex in Uyo. He stated this when he featured on an AIT morning program, Focus Nigeria. Livingstone Daniel monitored the program for AKBC News.
Governor Akpabio expressed concern that some sections of the media are publishing false stories to please their paymasters without cross-checking the facts and wonder how somebody died when his administration, in conjunction with other agencies, put in a lot of security and safety measures in place, including the provision of 8 viewing centers across the state. He challenged his detractors to come out with the names of those that died, their origin, as well as their families. Governor Akpabio advised the press to learn to celebrate leaders who have done well rather than run them down.
There was no single stampede and there was no death. But you know, Nigeria is like that. Instead of somebody to write an editorial on this beautiful masterpiece that have been presented and applaud the good work, people politicize things. A newspaper will go and actually open and write an editorial about a non-existent stampede and talk less of a non-existent death. And then we are saying, bring out the number of the people who died. Which families are they from? What are their names? They don't have.
He noted his decision to give the country a brand new sports city is to further develop sports talents. Governor Akpabio reminded the people that his administration will end on May 29, 2015, and as such, he will continue to provide dividends of democracy to the people, and assured that he will inaugurate the 20th anniversary hospital by January next year. This, he noted, will minimize the constant medical tourism to India and other places. On the issue of successor in 2015, Governor Akpabio said some persons from Eket Senatorial District whom he has worked with are qualified to succeed him, pointing out that God's will be done again in the succession projects. He advised all candidates to base their campaign on issues rather than character defamation.
Anybody can contest, even from my village. You have a right to contest, but the party said we prefer that for equity and justice, the next governor should come from Eket Senatorial District. Any Akwa Ibom child that the people vote for, I'll be happy to hand over.
Livingstone Daniel, rape.
Governor Godswill Akpabio has acknowledged the contributions of school principals to the success of the education programs of his administration. Akpabio stated this during the opening ceremony of the mandatory continuing professional training by the South-South Zone of the All Nigeria Confederation of Principals of Schools and Corps held in Uyo. The story is here presented.
Represented by the Commissioner for Education, Professor Atamantai, the governor noted that education is the bedrock of any meaningful development, which explains why his administration accords it top priority. Conscious of the role a conducive environment plays in academic performance, the governor said he had to embark on the renovation and construction of school buildings and improve the welfare of teachers for optimal performance. Chief Akpabio, who was conferred with an excellence award by the South-South Zone of ANCOPS, commended the organization for the choice of Akwa Ibom for the hosting of the training and thanked them for the award. He described the theme Equipping Nigerian School Principals for Managing Contemporary Health and Security Challenges in Secondary Schools as very apt. The governor said the world is a global family and what affects the other, hence the need for cross-fertilization of ideas on how to overcome the various challenges plaguing the country and the African continent.
In order to obtain their know-how and skills in teaching profession. am happy to inform you that the present government came with a new vision and made education a cardinal instrument for state development, thus setting excellent agenda for rehabilitation and repositioning its entire educational system.
The chairman, All Nigeria Confederation of Principals of Secondary Schools, ANCOPS, South Zone, Dr. Augusta Fubara, described Governor Godswill Akpabio as the most teacher-friendly governor in the country. She said the zone is highly impressed by his welfarist gesture towards teachers and the promotion of the education sector of the economy. The chairman particularly lauded the governor for the migration policy for principals up to level 17 as principal generals, describing the gesture as unprecedented. She conferred the Excellence Award of Eteberedem Metuwemu Fongwed on the governor.
This training is mandatory. It is a training that builds you up. It is a training that assists you in running your school. It is a training where you come and exchange views with other colleagues. It is a training where you come and acquire more knowledge. It is a training where you come and build up yourself. It's the only training that qualifies you to become a principal of the country.
Earlier, the Akwa Ibom State President of ANCOPS, Mr. Living Osodion, highlighted the positive contributions of the state government to improving quality education, to include free and compulsory education program, appointment of principals to permanent secretaries cadre, payment of wire registration fees, massive renovation of schools, car loans, and migration of principals to the rank of principal general, as well as free distribution of exercise and textbooks to public and private secondary schools, as laudable gestures which have motivated teachers to put in their best. He appealed for the sponsorship of members of ANCOPS to international conferences.
His main objectives among others include the following: to provide opportunity for principals of all primary schools in Nigeria to exchange views and make recommendations on matters affecting education in Nigeria.
The South Zone comprises Bayelsa, Edo, Rivers, Cross River, and Akwa Ibom states.
The senatorial ambition of Governor Godswill Akpabio in next year's general election has received a boost from the women of Ikot-Ekpene Senatorial District, who have resolved to queue behind him. The women also threw their weight behind President Goodluck Jonathan's re-election bid and that of the immediate past secretary to the state government, Mr. Udomi Emmanuel, as Governor Akpabio's successor. The story is presented in our studios.
Coming under the aegis of Godswill Akpabio for Senate 2015 Women Forum from the 10 local government areas making up Ikot-Ekpene Senatorial District, the women say, having witnessed the achievements of the Akpabio administration in the state, it has become necessary for them to support his senatorial ambition. The women maintain that Governor Akpabio has placed Akwa Ibom in the international map, describing him as tested, trusted, and marketable. The reason that if the governor could spread development projects across the 31 local government areas of the state, people of Ikot-Ekpene Senatorial District would witness more federal presence and effective representation with Godswill Akpabio in the upper chamber. The women passed a vote of confidence on the state chief executive and promised their unwavering support for him. They also threw their weight behind the former secretary to the state government, Mr. Udomi Emmanuel, as Governor Akpabio's successor in 2015, describing him as the right man who would consolidate on the uncommon transformation of the Akpabio administration. Speakers at the event, including the president of Godswill for Senate 2015 Women Forum, Mrs. Victoria Thomas, the wife of the Deputy Speaker, State House of Assembly, Mrs. Ime Udo Kiriam, wife of the member representing Abak in the State House of Assembly, Deaconess Grace Iwok, that of the Commissioner for Special Duties, N. Enoidem, wife of the Special Advisor to the Governor on Technical Matters, Mrs. Nse Itidenyang, and that of the Special Assistant to the Governor on Religious Affairs, Mrs. Justina Udofia. affirmed their support for President Goodluck Jonathan, Governor Akpabio, and Mr. Udom Emmanuel.
If you want to criticize, do it very constructive.
Members of the forum sang, danced, and appreciated God for the unity, love, and togetherness among women as championed by the governor's wife, Mrs. Ekaita Unoma Akpabio. High point of the event was prayers for peaceful conduct of the PDP primaries in the state and country, success of President Jonathan, Governor Akpabio, and Udom Emmanuel's political ambitions in 2015 general elections.
In an effort to encourage private participation in the provision of accessible and affordable education to the citizenry, Ibom Metropolitan Polytechnic has birth in Uyo, the Akwa Ibom State capital. The Polytechnic is located at Atanofort of IBB Avenue, Uyo, sharing neighborhood with the E-Library and the State Secretariat complex. It offers wide range of courses in management sciences, engineering, arts, environmental sciences, and petroleum studies at national diploma and higher national diploma levels, while graduates of the programs will proceed for national youth service immediately after completion of their programs. The Polytechnic also runs courses in oil and gas, as well as other related specialized courses at City and Guilds Professional Diploma and higher diploma levels to boost local content in the industry in Nigeria. The promoter of the Polytechnic, Dr. Victor Williams, who is also an oil and gas technocrat, in a statement said Ibom Metropolitan Polytechnic is the only institution in Nigeria and West Africa offering oil and gas courses at professional diploma and higher diploma levels. This, he said, is deliberate and necessary to enable citizens acquire education and skills in line with the nation's aspiration. The primate of the African Church worldwide, Most Reverend Emmanuel Udofi, encouraged the citizens to avail themselves of the various programs of the institution. The acting registrar of the Polytechnic, Dr. I. Achibo, reminded interested candidates that admission forms are obtainable with payment of 5,000 naira to UBA account number 1017-205. I take that again. UBA account number 1017-205-891. ICZ Laboratory Limited, Olobasanjo Way, Port Harcourt, Oak Business School, County Bus Stop, Ogba, Lagos, and CRBC Calabar. For more information, call 0803 8575 734, 0706 1337 734, or 0813 774 5044 and 0803 9462 204. We take a break at this point. When we return, the news continues. Please don't go away.
My challenge to the Akwa Ibom youth today is to rise up and protect the uncommon transformation. Rise up and protect the uncommon transformation. There must be sustainability. So for me as a governor, I'm charging Akwa Ibom children. The future belongs to you. Your fathers have done their bit. Rise up and protect your future. Bring a governor that will bring industrialization. Bring a governor that will bring progress. Bring a governor that will bring development. Not the one that goes on ethnic cleavage. Not the one that goes to bring tribalism. Not the one that gangs up with elders and wants to come through the window. I want to use this opportunity to congratulate our dear President, Dr. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, for the endorsement given to him by the National Executive Committee of our party as the sole candidate in 2015 presidential election. I want to thank the people of Nigeria for recognizing that leadership comes from God, and God gives it to whom He pleases. So I stand with my dear President so that he will succeed for my children to have Nigeria tomorrow. I thank Nigeria for supporting Dr. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan.
So glad to have you back. The State Working Committee, on behalf of members of the State Council of the Nigeria Union of Journalists, has congratulated its chairman, Elder Patrick Albert, on his nomination for the Millennium Achievers and Leadership Gold Award tagged Leader with the Midas Touch. The award will be conferred on him during the upcoming 2014 News Trend Annual Leadership Conference and Award. A message signed by the State Secretary, Mr. Joseph Roberts, described the honor done to our chairman, who is also billed to chair the media event, as well deserved. He noted that Elder Patrick Albert, since his assumption of office, has dedicated his time and energy to the task of transforming the human and physical infrastructure of the Union, which have attracted accolades and public admiration to the Union. The Union also felicitated the organizer of the event, Elder Emmanuel Eduongo, who is one of its members, for his consistency in hosting the annual media meet for the past 9 years. They described this year's theme of the conference, Sustaining Nigeria's Democracy for Enhanced Economic Growth, to be delivered by a seasoned journalist, lawyer, and human rights activist, Barrister Clifford Thomas, as timely given the present political atmosphere in the country. Mr. Roberts invites members of the Union to turn up at the Multi-Purpose Hall, Governor's Office Annex, Uyu, by 10 o'clock to celebrate with our leader. The Commissioner for Transport, Prince Godwin Tugude, was on Sunday presented with an award at the Christ the King Cathedral, Wellington Basiwe, Uyu. Reacting shortly after the conferment of the award, translated as Instrument of Remembrance on him, Prince Ntogude expressed appreciation to God, the church authorities, and the cathedral congregation for considering him worthy of the honor. He said he was born into the Catholic faith and attributed his lasting faith in God to his late parents, whom he recalled taught him to hold fast unto the Almighty God. He expressed gratitude to Reverend Father Patrick Edet for standing by him during the burial of his late mother, Obonwan Patricia Ntode, who was a pillar of the Catholic parish in Emmanuran, where Reverend Father Edet oversees.
To continually involve us to trust only God, depend on God. Ask God to give us the spirit that was inside Daniel. Whatever was inside Daniel was what made Daniel excel.
The event, which was part of this year's grand finale of the Cathedral Festival Christian's Harvest of Remembrance, featured the conferment of honors on distinguished personalities, including the State Commissioner of Police, Mr. Gabriel Acham, former General Manager of NNPC, Obongo Tumedo, and the Chief Executive Officer of Idem's Ultimate Limited, Mr. Onyema Idem. Others were former Deputy Governor of the state, Obon Chris Ekpeyong, Barrister Iwatu Morin, Mr. Patrick Okon, Mrs. Benedette Utuk, and Lady Immaculate Hausen. The death has been announced in Itauran, Oran local government area, of a renowned businesswoman, Deaconess Grace Okonefiong of the Ekpeyong Akpanumo family. Deaconess Grace Efiong, who died last month at 60, was a devout Christian of the Christ Foundation Evangelical Mission Faith. Popularly called a Kaudwak, the mother of 7 was educated at the St. Augustine's Primary School, Itauran, after which she moved in with her uncle at the Nigerian Institute for Oil Palm Research, Benin City, where she developed her business potential. A successful trader, she was also an outstanding Christian who was found fit by the Christ Foundation Evangelical Mission to be ordained a deaconess. A family statement signed by her eldest son, Inyobong Okonefyong, indicates that the funeral service in her honor will be conducted by the Christ Foundation Evangelical Mission on Saturday at the Government Technical College, Ewet, at 10 o'clock in the morning, while the interment will take place at her residence, number 15 at Apo Street, Uyo. The statement invites sympathizers and other well-wishers to attend the funeral. The late Deaconess Grace Okonefyong is survived by several children, brothers, sisters, sons-in-law, grandchildren, nephews and nieces, including Oduawobong Okonefyong, daughter, Professor Benedict Umon of the University of Uyo, brother, Mrs. Emilia Yoefyong, sister, and Deacon Adewole Rufus Adedapo, son-in-law. A one-time director in the State Ministry of Education and a former president of the Abak chapter of the Sumbongi Akwa Ibom, Obonwan Margaret Bernard Udo, is dead. According to a statement by the deceased family, Obonwan Margaret Udo died last month. The statement noted that the remains of the deceased will be laid to rest at her compound at Afaobong after a funeral service to be conducted by Catholic Church Afaresam Afarobong Abak local government area on November 17, 2014 at 10 o'clock in the morning. Obonwan Margaret Bernard Udo, who died at the age of 62, had a primary education at Midam, Abak local government area, from where she moved to Adiaobong Secondary School, Enyongofort, for her secondary education, and later obtained her teacher's grade 2 certificate from Holy Child Teachers Training College, Ikadikbene. Obonwan was a song star in the Catholic Church, member of the Catholic Women Organization CWO, and served as president of St. Monica Society in Afaresam for years. Ma had worked as a public servant from 1968 at the Holy Child Primary School, Abak, Yamited Primary School, Obubra, Andrews Primary School, Ikwek, to 1988, where she was appointed an education officer for Ikotepene local government area. She later served as a zonal inspector of education in 2012. As a community leader, Obonwan Udo was a member of Ntododo and Ntonen family and president of Isombong Iban Abak chapter. She was also the president of Iban Afena until death. You can also watch AKBC TV News online by logging on to akbconline.org or follow us on Twitter at AKBC45Uyo, on Facebook at AKBC Channel 45. That's our package for this morning, but before we go, another look at the top stories. Governor Godswill Akpabio has debunked media report of stampede at the inauguration of Akwa Ibom International Stadium. It was featuring in an AIT program, Focus Nigeria. That is it for this morning. Thanks for spending your time with us. Do have a blessed day. Good morning.